every scenario in life ever, every relationship, every situation, all of these things, you can categorize them into one similar similar fact is that they have ups and they have downs. Also, before I continue with the rest of the video, I have a scab right here. I don't know what this is from. I don't know how I got it. Um, it looks really weird, but don't worry about it. But anyways, life in general has ups and downs. For example, that computer science test I was talking about, I said, right, if you remember, I said I didn't think I did too well. I said I didn't think I failed, but I know I didn't get 100. Guess what I got? I got a 100. On top of that, the weather's looking great. It's pretty sunny outside. It's pretty chilly. It's nice. I'm looking good. Like Valentine's Day and my birthday just happened, so I have a lot of candy and a lot of snacks to go through, and I have a lot of new shirts and stuff like that, and these awesome gym pants from Retaliation came in. So everything is it's hair in my mouth. Ugh, ugh. Sorry about that. Everything is doing pretty good. And this is in direct contrast to 1 week ago when everything was doing pretty bad. I had a lot of stuff to look forward to, but I had even more stuff that I had to take care of. I had to study, I had to take care of homework, and I still have to do those things. But last week it was just a lot because, computer science tests, all the stuff, I had to take long drives, whatever. The point of today's video is to remind you, my viewer, a part of my audience, that life and every single part of life in your emotions, all of those things have ups and downs. Another quick side note, if you see I don't know if you guys can see it, but my camera, so the way my OBS is set up, right? I have a big rectangle in front of my screen. It doesn't take up the entire screen, but it's a solid chunk of it, like a third, and I just see my face. And it's kind of glitching out a little bit. So if you see any glitches, I apologize again. My webcam is the same age as my computer, so 6 or 7 years old, and I need a new one. But back to the video. If you want to capitalize off of the highs of your life, if you want to make sure you are the happiest when your life is up here, and if you also want to make sure you are not that depressed, I guess you're not that upset when your life is down here, you need to realize, you need to be self-aware and self-conscious that not self-conscious, you need to be self-aware that your life has ups and downs. Again, your life is a roller coaster, like your emotions, like your relationships, like your grades. Everything has ups and downs. There is no there is no scenario, there's no existence that is purely up, and there's no existence that is purely down. And take that as you will, honestly. I would call myself a pretty fortunate person, right? I grew up in a solid family. I've never really had to worry about money up until now. And I've had a lot of luxuries regarding, cars. I have a nice computer. I've always had access to food, a roof over my head, clothing, all of that stuff. So I wouldn't consider my life bad, but there have definitely been some parts of my life that have sucked pretty hard. Pause. They've been kind of rough. Um, Predominantly that of, or just dominantly that of my ages 14 to 16. That was probably when my life was at its lowest because of my weight gain and my self image and my depression. And obviously, as you can tell, my self image is a lot better. It's still not perfect, though. I still have body dysmorphia because no matter how much progress I make, I still look at myself in the mirror and I see that same old 15-year-old fat ass. Sorry, but that's what I was called a lot in middle school. And I don't mean to turn this into a sob story. I'm just here to tell you that it does get better. Also, it's kind of hot in my dorm room, so I'm gonna take this hoodie off that my girlfriend made. See? It says, "You are strong. I love you, little croissant." And then on the hood, I can't set her initial, my initial, and there's a little heart. Very nice. Probably the most thoughtful gift I've ever received, but I gotta take it off because I don't want to start sweating. There is a similar idea. I gotta move my mic. Sorry if that was loud. There's a similar idea across my channel, and that is when life sucks, that's when the most growth occurs, which I'm going to reintroduce to you today. I say capitalize off of the high points of your life. So you can be effective, you can make progress, you can further develop yourself and relationships with others when you are at your happiest because everything's easy when you're happy. Everything's easier when you're happy. But you don't learn much when you're happy. You don't learn much when everything is going good for you. You learn so much more when your life is down here. You learn so much more when you're failing your classes or when you're in an argument with your spouse or whatnot. Not only should you capitalize off of the highs, but you should especially capitalize off of the lows because when you are at your worst, that is when you are doing the most growth. It's the same thing, wait for it, with muscles. Wow, in the gym. Who would have thought I would go there? Me of all people. That's crazy. So the analogy I'm talking about is let's take the bicep curl for an example. The way you move muscle, or the sorry, not move, the way you build muscle is tearing it down. Now, what I mean by this is whenever you have a bicep weight in your hand and you're going to curl, this you're not really doing anything because you're just holding the weight. Every time you pull, right? Every time you pull, you basically rip this muscle fiber apart. And the way growth happens, it's also kind of like if you took an ice cube, put some cracks in it, filled it with water, and then let it freeze again. Essentially, whenever the tears in the muscle happen from you putting weight onto that muscle, you eat protein, you get sleep, drink water, creatine, steroids, even that hole that you make in your muscle grows back, but it doesn't get rid of the pre-existing muscle fibers, so your muscle gets bigger and bigger and bigger over a period of time. And here, the weight in my hand when I'm doing the bicep curl, the weight is a hard time. And me doing a bicep curl is capitalizing off of that hard time. And it's just like how good times versus bad times. It's essentially like comfort zone, not your comfort zone. It's like a hair in my mouth. Sorry about that. It's like a pre-existing comfort zone, right? If you're happy, you're obviously in your comfort zone. Or if you're David Goggins and you're happy because you're not in your comfort zone, you're a weirdo. But you being in your comfort zone, you're most likely going to be happy, right? You not being in your comfort zone, same thing as not being happy. You're not happy, you're not probably not going to be in your comfort zone. That's what I'm trying to prove. This is just basically another PSA of me telling you that being outside your comfort zone really, really improves who you are as a person and your skills and your relationships. It just improves so much. And I'm going to reference back to my first week or like 5 days of college. It was pretty rough. Um, I got here and I was like, you could ask my parents, you could ask my brother, you could ask anyone that I spoke to during this time. I was really anxious. The first 2 days I spent in this room, well, not in this room, but in the city that I'm in, I was with my parents and my brother. We were just chilling out, getting food, all that stuff. I had no appetite. I could not eat. I could not sleep. It was really rough. And I remember the first couple days of college, it was a Saturday and a Sunday, I believe, because you gotta get in the dorm room to get acclimated and stuff like that. But I woke up and I felt the most gut wrenching, cold emptiness in my stomach. It sucked, but I wouldn't trade it for anything because during that time, I learned so much about myself. I learned who I am when I go through these kind of nerve wracking experiences. I also learned how I can feed myself and how I can get nutrients into my body and how I can handle the emotions that I feel when I'm going through these rough times. And that's what I'm talking about. You don't learn much about yourself when you're happy. But that's not me telling you to pursue unhappiness. You should pursue happiness because happiness is fun. Happiness is great. I'm telling you, you should pursue happiness, but I'm also telling you, don't be afraid of being sad. Don't be afraid of being in a low spot in your life because those time periods in which you're at your lowest are when you do the most growth. And before I forget, thank you so much for 200 subscribers. I never expected my channel to be this big. But again, thank you so much. I'll see you next time.